Hey everyone, it's Alex from Strength Hacks. Today we're going to go over the top 5 deadlift tips. This is the second installment in the top 5 series. If you have any ideas on what you'd like to have covered next, just drop a comment down below and let me know, and I'll cover that topic. So let's get into the first one. It's going to be to hop up and down 3 times. I can actually demonstrate it real quick. So if you're just standing, you just hop up and down. Don't try to like spread your feet out when you're hopping, just straight up and down with your feet underneath your hips. Generally you're going to land where you're going to produce the most power, but this doesn't apply to everyone, and also this only applies to conventional pullers. I got some tips for you sumo guys later. So just play around with that with a light weight, 135 or so. You can also try stances 1 to 2 inches outside of that, just to see how they feel. You're going to want to pick whatever stance moves the bar the fastest. That means it's going to be your most powerful stance. So also you might need to flare your toes out too, because we're trying to get an ideal stance here. Some people pull better with their feet straight in front, some people 10 degrees, some people 30 degrees. It all depends. And then also for you sumo pullers, just try to go as wide as your mobility will allow to start and see how that feels, see how fast the bar is moving. Also try like a semi-sumo stance. I don't know if you've ever seen SSJ Bob pull his sumo. It's more of I don't know, they call it like frog stance or semi-sumo. Just something pretty much outside of where your arms are, not like super wide by the place. Kind of more inside of the rings of the barbell, I would say. And also you can do variations with your non-main stances. I actually recommend it. You don't want to pull with your dominant stance all the time. So say you can do like a wide stance conventional, a regular conventional, regular sumo, the semi-sumo. You can rotate between those and get the benefits that all of them have to offer. Just build some good all-around strength. Alright, now we're moving on to tip number 2. Make sure you pull your hands down when you're setting up. This cue can also be thought of as unshrugging your traps. Just, arms down, kind of I don't know, like push your fingers towards your knees, I guess. That's kind of how I think about it. This is going to make your arms longer and lower to the ground. It's going to shorten your range of motion, which equals more pounds lifted. Especially, it gives you better leverages too. If you had arms that were so long that your fingers were at your ankles, like, you'd have a 1-inch range. This is extreme, but, you'd have 1-inch range of motion. You could probably break the deadlift world record, even if you didn't have a lot of mass. Alright, on to the third one. This is going to be to do speed pulls. Make sure you include them in your training. They're really good for technique. They will help you dial it in because you're getting a lot of first reps, and you have to perfect your setup every single time. You get a lot of practice setting up. So it's 6 to 10 sets usually of 1 rep with 30 to 60 seconds rest in between. You want to make sure you're increasing weight each week, doing a 3-week wave. So for example, week 1 would be 60%, week 2 would be 65%, and week 3 would be 70%. Usually, that's if you're using raw weight, and it can fluctuate too. It can go, 55, 60, 65, or see here, 65, 70, 75 are also pretty good. Once in a while, you can do the raw weight. I'd say, 3/4 of the time, you're going to want to do bands and chains. And programming for that would usually be 3-week waves as well. 40, 45, 50 plus 25% bands or chains. And or you can do 50, 55, 60%. I've seen that works pretty well too. It's all going to depend on how good you are at speed work, how explosive you are and whatnot. The fourth tip is going to be the opposite end of the force equals mass times acceleration spectrum. So speed work is going to cover the acceleration side, and then force is covered by just how much absolute weight you're lifting. So this is why max effort work is a thing. Especially with deadlift, you don't really want to do all-out maxes that often, so usually I would program them as 2 to 5 sets of 1 at around 90, sometimes 92% depending. And these are going to build absolute strength while keeping you fresh. Going too heavy too often, exceeding 95% or trying for a new PR all the time on the same variation, that's going to lead to psychological burnout too. and physical burnout because you're excessively fatigued, especially if you're a conventional puller. It's a very fatiguing variation. The best part about doing submaximal singles is you get extra repetitions. You know, when you're working up to a 1 rep max or a PR, you usually just get that one set of 1 and then you're done. So with this method, you're gonna get many repetitions under a heavy load, and they're gonna be moving at a good speed too because it's not all out effort. That's gonna be you know, a great way to build your base, and it's gonna lead to PRs if you do that consistently and don't fall into the trap of ego lifting. Alright, it's time to wrap it up. We got the 5th tip, which is just a little debate between 2 different cues. So the chin up and the tuck your chin or pack your chin cue. So you're going to want to keep your chin up if the bar is slowing down towards lockout or at your knees. And then the opposite applies for tucking your chin. That's going to be good for people who have a hard time breaking the bar off the floor. Now you're not going to want to perform these excessively. You don't want to crane your neck up like this when you're pulling or have it all the way down. You want to be somewhere near neutral at least. That way you're not putting excess pressure on your discs. You know, you can do that without load just fine, but if, say, you got 500 pounds, you're going like this, like that's just a lot of pressure on your neck and your spine. It's bound to end with injury one day. So, time to wrap the video up. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, of course. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see something covered in the top 5 tip series. You know, anything lifting, strength, health, sleeping related. I'm studying everything pretty hard these days, so hopefully I have some good tips to give you guys. Thank you for watching and have a great day.